I wanted this kind of a different tangent, but I was just thinking about how when you read the lesson, something always relates to an issue you're dealing with. And it's so cool because these lessons are prepared like a year in advance, but so much praying goes into them, and they can always just relate back to whatever you're dealing with. And it's so cool when I find those passages, like that helps me so much. So I just wanted to say, read the lesson, it'll help you. Yay!
What I always find is fun in terms of that is when it's not just like personal things that you find in the lesson, but like when world events seem to be specified in lessons that, like Jenny was saying, were written months and months before any of those events actually happened. And I think it's really cool when it applies to like the larger world as well as just like us as individuals.
That whole one mind thing.
So after, I think, the tsunami in Japan and the Fukushima disaster where the nuclear reactor melted down, like that week in the lesson, sort of as an example, was there is no vapid fury of mortal mind, expressed in earthquake, wind, wave, lightning, fire, bestial ferocity, and this so-called mind is self-destroyed. And I know that we had like this really cool discussion about that in terms of like 6 months later, this idea of this extraordinarily aggressive mental suggestion. And right there in the lesson was, and I think we discussed like vapid being like empty and nothingness, and the idea that that just had no power. And it was a really cool like experience in that that had been picked out so far in advance. And apparently that was similar to Pearl Harbor.
Alright, on.
Okay. What inspired me about that particular story was I remember when I was little, my mother telling me that when she was a reader in Hawaii, that a practitioner told her at the time, because in Hawaii, of course, that's where World War II started and the attack on Pearl Harbor by the Japanese. And they were my mother was reading at the time with, and the first reader was a practitioner, and the practitioner said to her, they were talking about how suitable the lesson was for every event that's going on, no matter when. And he said it was amazing to read the lesson the week that Pearl Harbor was attacked, because although it had been written, designed by the lesson committee 6 months, a year before, it was just perfect for that particular event. And that always stuck with me, although that was not my experience. And, it was before my time, Pearl Harbor. But having her say that, just made us both so aware of the relevancy of the lesson and how important it is to feed us on a daily basis, not in terms of our own lives, but in terms of world events.
How does it go? Like, give us our bread.
Give us our daily bread. Oh, thy kingdom. No, it's not that one. What are you going for?
You're talking about feed our thoughts, and so it's like, hey, it's like that.
It's like our daily bread. Yeah.
Yeah.
With the Lord's Prayer. Yeah. Give us this day our daily bread.
Yeah. And it's not like literally jamming bread, but
it's our inspiration.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's our inspiration.
Cool.